Good morning. For those that don't know me, my name is Anthony, and for those that do know me, yes, my name is actually Anthony. I'm a product of my time, born in the 80s, the decade that fashion forgot, and growing up in that time, going through the public school system, we all had religious education, which may as well have been called Christian religious education, because everyone I know only learnt about Christianity, which is great. And we had a woman from a local church come and teach us every week for the first 4 years of my schooling. Unfortunately, what I didn't learn was how it was all connected and what it actually should mean to me. I learned all the big players of the Bible. I learned all the names, all the easy to say names. Not many of the hard to say names. But I learnt their stories, but I didn't learn how they were connected to Jesus. And I didn't learn that it was all about Jesus. And so I lived my life in a way that didn't reflect Jesus. At home, my mum would say that we were agnostic, which I've since learnt is code for there might be a God, but I'm not going to change my life because of it. And again, that's how I lived my life. But God was stalking me. I lived a life where I was looked after in a lot of ways and escaped some pretty bad situations before they got bad enough to be a worry to me. But it was when I was 25. I was living with some mates, and I was at home on a Tuesday afternoon, and I was at home on a Tuesday afternoon because I'd lost my job, and I thought I was hitting rock bottom, and then I got a phone call from my grandma. She said, "Oh, have you spoken to your mum today?" I said, "No, it's only Tuesday. I've got plenty of time." And she said, "Well, she's going in for surgery today." "Surgery for what?" "Oh, you don't know?" "Oh, well, your mum has breast cancer." Talk about kicking a man while he's down. Yeah, devastating, heartbreaking. I got off the phone and I sat down, and for the first time in my life, I prayed. And I don't know why, and I don't know if I did it right, I guess, at the time. But I reached out. And then I moved back in at home, looked after my mum, and a couple of weeks later I started thinking about that. Why did I pray? What was I looking for? And so I went on a bit of a journey, I went on a bit of a search, and I started looking at different religions, because obviously I already knew about Christianity, so it had to be something else. So I went to a Buddhist temple, I went to a Jewish temple, I went to a Hindu thing. I'm not even sure what it was. But every time I left with more questions than answers, and I felt hollow. And then I was playing cricket, and one of the guys there just asked me how I was doing, and I said, "Oh, I'm okay." And he said, "Just okay?" I said, "Oh, I think I'm a little bit lost. I don't know, and I don't know what I'm looking for." And he said, "Oh, we should have a chat." I said, "Oh, why is that important to you?" He goes, "Well, I live across the road at this place called PTC. I'm studying to be a minister." What is PTC, firstly? And how have I never seen it? I've been playing cricket at this cricket ground for 20 years and never noticed PTC is across the road, and therefore never asked what it was. So I got taken out on what can only be described as a mandate. And Stuart Withers, who ended up becoming the minister at Rochester for a time, he explained the gospel to me and explained that what I thought I knew about Christianity was only a small piece of the puzzle. So he invited me to church. He invited me to Surrey Hills Presbyterian, and I went there. Unfortunately, he was preaching in Bundoora and didn't tell me. So I went to Surrey Hills and he went to Bundoora. But I was warmly welcomed and encouraged, and I heard a great sermon, and it felt right. There was substance to it, and I felt like questions were being answered. And so I kept going back, and then in October of 2010, I was baptised and welcomed into the family of Christ. And then 52 weeks later, at the church fete, I met the woman who would become my wife. And 18 months later, Rachel and I got married at Surrey Hills Presbyterian. And then not long after that, we heard a guy preach, and he was very nervous. He was a student, and I didn't think he was going to make it, but I was very new at Christianity at that point. But then they moved up here to Bendigo, and a year later, we decided we should join them. We didn't think we should join them. We thought we should come to Bendigo. And then I went to Eaglehawk and followed Jesse and Beck there. And I was lucky enough to spend 6 years learning from Jesse and being guided by Jesse and growing in my faith and growing in my commitment to Christ's family and serving and helping others grow in their faith in Christ. And then, obviously, Eaglehawks had a few little issues lately, some hiccups financially and with the congregation. And so Jesse and Becca have moved, and they're down in Melbourne, hoping for a new appointment down there. And I actually came to Reforming to bring someone else and to encourage them to come here, thinking I would go back to Eaglehawk. But I was just so encouraged by the welcome I've received and the love that I've felt ever since, and the deep commitment to continuing to welcome and share and grow together here at Reforming. It's hard not to want to be a part of that, and I'm so glad that I've stayed and continued to come and met a whole bunch of new friends and now family. So yeah, that's my story. But I do want to close, if I can, with my favourite psalm, which is Psalm 100. It's only 5 verses, so it won't take long, I promise. It says, "Make a joyful noise to the Lord, all the earth. Serve the Lord with gladness. Come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord, he is God. It is he who made us, and we are his. We are his people and the sheep of his pasture. Enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. Give thanks to him. Bless his name. For the Lord is good. His steadfast love endures forever, and his faithfulness to all generations." Thanks.